Hello, everyone. I'm Carol Hardy, and I have done public speaking before. And with y'all sitting out in the audience, how many of you right now, your heart is already starting to beat? Because as many times, well, I haven't done it a lot, but the speaking that I have done, my heart still beats when I'm coming up here, and my thoughts are just going from one thing to the next. But I really love doing it, and it is one of my passions. And one of the things that I have been a public speaker for is breast cancer and breast cancer awareness, because I'm an 8-year survivor, and I'm very, thank you. And I like to go to audiences, both men and women, because men can get breast cancer, and let you know how important it is to find it early. And it's so easy to find it early now and get it treated so you can become one of the survivors. That's one of the things that I think that why we see so many cancer survivors, breast cancer survivors now, is because it is easy to catch early. So it's not so much that the cancer is happening to so many more people, but that we're able to cure it and beat it. And that's why you see more survivors of cancer. So that is, again, it's one of my passions. The other passion is obviously real estate. I love what I do, and I'm sure all of you do too, or you wouldn't be here. And I have been selling and helping my clients with real estate for a little over 10 years. And when I go out with my girlfriends and I'm at my computer and still doing work, I don't feel like I'm doing work. It's fun for me. And they're saying, girl, you need to get off that computer. But it's still such a passion that it's not work for me. And I hope y'all feel the same way too. It's a service that we can give to people that is beyond a lot of the services that are available to the public. So in a nutshell, I'm passionate about cancer survival and breast cancer awareness and my job as a realtor. Thank you very much.
My name's Joseph Towns. I appreciate every time that we get together, especially in a new place. So I've been doing real estate for about 3 years. I came out of the education profession where I was an assistant principal at a high school. With that in mind, I did get up and speak in front of people quite often. They were just a lot smaller or younger. I can't say that they listened as well either. But coming into today, I started thinking about, where real estate was for me, trying to plan when we received our first email about a week ago, where was my business, what did I want to think about, what did I think I could get out of another course, that kind of thing. And I started thinking, you have to be able to balance a lot doing what we do. And one of the ways that, sitting back there a second ago trying to figure out how I was going to engage you guys was an analogy where I used to present this to my students. You have to be able to prioritize. I have 3 balls that really matter a lot to me that are on a stand in my room at home. I have a racquetball, a baseball, and a Christmas ball. Those 3 balls I want to juggle, but at some point I'm going to drop them. The choice that I have to make on a daily basis is, which one am I going to drop? If I drop the Christmas ball, what's going to happen? It's going to fall and it's going to break, and I'm going to have to clean up another mess. So the choice actually becomes pretty easy when I do it this way. I've got a baseball and a racquetball now. Now, I don't want to drop the Christmas ball. I'm going to try to juggle the 2. Which one am I going to drop now? Pretty simple. I'm going to drop the racquetball because it's going to bounce. I'm going to be able to pick it up and take care of my stuff again. So I just started thinking, how's business going? I can't juggle everything. I have to make choices, own them, and that's kind of how I remind myself what I'm going to take care of. So stepping away from business on a Friday this time of year, with that in mind, kind of helped me, enjoy what I'm getting to do today and for the rest of the weekend. So, thanks.
Hello, everyone. How you doing? My name is J.R. Marquez. I'm from Waco, Texas. I've been a realtor for 5 years now, approximately. And a little bit of background on me. I was in corporate America, been doing it for a long time, did it for 35 years, from general management to whatever. So I spoke in front of crowds, pretty big crowds actually. Actually did some facilitators training as well, where I actually went before people and actually got them to get to know them and actually have them speak to what's going on and how they can improve things. But that's kind of a little bit about me. And then community involvement, I was the president of the Hispanic Chamber for, I think 5 to 6 years. So spoke to a lot of media as well. But for me, as far as my goal, I want to become a broker. So how many people here are actually going for the broker's license? Show hands. Yes, so me too. I think I've got about a little over 200 hours left for the balance of the year, and looking forward to doing that, because one of the things that I'd like to do is, and I'd like to get out of TRLP, and along with the education, I think you referenced to it earlier, is that, is to continue education. Because you want to be able to pass that on, as far as I'm concerned, pass that on to your people, to your team, to your customers, because it's all about, learning and also, becoming a better leader. So that's what I'm hoping to get out of this. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brenda Burdick, and I've met most of you pretty well as we're throwing axes with you. There's a certain trust that develops with some of us. But I have been in situations where I've had to speak to fairly large groups over time, and so I'll get to that. But first of all, I want to start by telling you that I am a Texan, a native Texan, and I know a good majority of us in this room are, because of those conversations that we've already had. But in Texas, we are really, but how Texas are you? And I want you to know that I am a 7th generation Texan. And not only that, but I'm what we call an Alamo descendant. If you go and visit the Alamo, you will see the name Dolphin Floyd as one of the people that died there. And that was my great uncle who died in the Alamo in the siege. So I am a very proud Texan, and I love that through my life and through my changes in careers, I've still ended up and gotten to stay in Texas. That's a very big thing to us and to our family. So what I did initially when I went to college was become an educator. And I did that for 36 years. I was a teacher. I've taught grades 2 through 8. I was an assistant principal, a curriculum specialist, a principal, and then an admissions and marketing director for a large private school. So lots of experiences with a wide variety of ages of children. I worked with early childhood up through 8th grade. And in fact, for a while I was in Carrollton, and we thought we might have crossed paths, but we did not. But it's been a great experience for me, and one that I have built some great relationships with. And I love hearing back from kids whose lives I've been engaged with and their parents as well over the years. As far as real estate, for the last few years I thought when I exit education, I think I'd like to do something in real estate. I've always been fascinated by it and had friends who were involved with it. So I did that. I started taking my classes and kind of making an exit plan for my education job and career. That being said, when the question was asked earlier, how long have you been in education, or in real estate, the first option she gave was 1 to 2 years. And I hesitated because I've only been in 7 months. She didn't give an option that really fit my category, less than a year. So I am brand new, and I love coming to these because as much as I learn from the classes, I love hearing the stories that everyone else tells about situations they've been in, contract negotiations and different things, because I find that I really learn from those real life experiences and stories, and that's what I look forward to hearing even more of as we continue. Thank you.
Whew. Hey everyone, my name's Devin Forbes. I'm from Waco, Texas. Has everyone seen that movie Forrest Gump? Can I get a sign of hands? So with that movie, life is a box of chocolates. I love that saying because for me, life has definitely been a box of chocolates. I never know what flavor I'm going to have, and I never knew what exactly I was going to have going through life, even in my current situation where I am, because things are constantly changing and evolving. So from my early life, from a paper boy working in fast food after that, going into the military, corporate America, and then thinking about real estate. So very diversified, different, complex. I didn't even mention the truck driving side, but and pilot. So I've had a lot of different experience levels. I took real estate back in 1993 and missed it by one question. Now keep in mind, in 1993 I was about 23 years old, and yeah, I wasn't ready. But now that I am ready for it, I'm embracing it, and I'm every day picking from that box of chocolate, saying, what is it going to be? What is it going to taste like today? And for me, being in real estate now, coming on 5 years, learning the different branches of real estate on not only to be successful for myself, but for my clients, my peers, my colleagues, my mentors, my coaches, you know, taking it from 1 to 4 contracts to commercial to investments to farm and ranch to land. You know, it's life is a box of chocolates, and I'm super excited to be here with you guys because TRLP is teaching me so much, bringing me out of my comfort zone because I do not like talking in front of people. I have a lisp when I talk, so it's very, very uncomfortable for me. So thank you for this lesson because it is really making me come out of my shell. Thank you.
My name is Cindy Goff, and I am a realtor with Magnolia Realty in Waco, Texas. I'm passionate about grandkids. How many of you have grandkids? You're missing out. It's the best ever. I have 4 grandkids and 1 coming, and so I'm very excited about that on a personal scale for me. When I'm not working and doing real estate, that's usually where I am. On a passionate note, I've always been passionate about helping others. So I've kind of had these 3 E's in my life that I've always kind of gone with: equip, encourage, and empower. And so I was a salesperson forever, still am, but now that I'm in a leadership role, so I'm the leader of the Magnolia Waco group. So we have 34 realtors that I'm in charge of. The equip, encourage, and empower is now more vivid to me than ever before. Usually it was just about yourself. As you know, realtors, we're kind of all about encouraging ourselves. Sometimes we're our own champion. Sometimes real estate's a very lonely world, I think. And so I know that about my realtors at Magnolia, and so I really try to make sure that I am a good leader for them. Every situation's different. Believe it or not, every realtor's different. Everybody has a different personality, so it's a challenge for me, one that I enjoy very much, and I've learned a lot being in this class. A lot of the classes I've had to take to get my broker's license, I've learned about how to help the agents, how to help people with their business. So I'm blessed to be in this industry. I'm the vice president of our board of directors in Waco. I don't know if I got elected or I missed a meeting or what happened with that, but I'm happy to be there, looking forward to next year, and looking forward to just getting to know everybody a little bit more and hear our stories. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Jamie Stanley. I always think I love public speaking, but then I think that I'm going to come up here and be like Will Ferrell's character in, what is it, Old School, where he gets up and he's super eloquent, but he like blacked out the whole time. So I always think that I'm going to do that. But I really like kind of the topics that people have chosen about passion. Carol, you hit home with the breast cancer. My mother's a survivor. My mother-in-law lost her life to breast cancer. I carry the BRCA gene, so I am, that's constantly on the forefront of my brain. So thank you for also supporting that. Passions. So I love real estate. I really enjoy the teaching aspect of real estate. So my job role, I'm a part owner at a brokerage in College Station, and my job role is Chief Development Officer. So I spend a lot of time talking, but I'm typically just talking to a camera, and we have a lot of YouTube videos, so there's no response or faces looking back at you. But my other passion is cooking. I love all things cooking. I kind of grew up with a restaurant family. I imagine that at some point in my life, I will probably be back in the restaurant industry. I hope. I hope to own a restaurant. Some people go home and do yoga after a rough day. I go home and I cook. If it's been a really bad week, it's going to be spaghetti sauce. It takes me about 4.5 hours, 5 hours to cook it. I love every minute of it. The smell is amazing. This was a rough week. I made spaghetti sauce on Monday. I left the office around 2:30. I'm surprised I'm not 400 pounds because I am of the mindset that I live to eat. I don't eat to live. So one day, hopefully that will be incorporated into my life. But so, back to real estate, I've got the education portion of it. I love selling real estate. I don't know that I want to sell real estate forever, but I do want to be involved in Texas Realtors, NAR. I want to be involved in some sort of a leadership position. We had some crazy changes in College Station this year, some city council members that a lot of people were unhappy with, and I could see myself, it kind of lit a fire as maybe possibly going into that role, a leadership role in our city and our community as well one day. So hopefully I can take that with me and take what I'm learning here with me. And really, not only am I learning from all these speakers, but you guys have all, the aha moments are just numerous every time. So thank you all so much.
Hi, I'm Brandy Mickey. I'm passionate about life. So I'm a mother of 4 kids, 5 dogs, not a mother of a husband, but he's in there too, and full-time realtor. Honestly, I never know what's going to happen any day of the week, ever. Everything's always crazy. So every day is a gift, and I feel that it is one to be treasured, and how you treasure that, I think really just depends on what drives you the most. So for me, it is my family, it is my girls, it is for them to see that mom did what mom never thought she could do. Mom doesn't talk to people. I can talk to clients all day long. Peers is a different story, so we're still working on it. But ultimately, for me, it's showing the kids that, you can do whatever you put your mind to. So that's it. That's me.
Good morning. I'm Jody Warner from College Station, Texas, and I'm starting a timer because the one thing I've learned is I like my soapboxes. The most you learn about public speaking, you learn from doing public speaking. So I'm a proud realtor. I am the Vice President of the Bryan College Station Multiple Listing Service. I'm happy to serve there, and I've learned a lot because in my 2 years so far, I've moved from Director to Secretary Treasurer to Vice President at light speed. That being said, TRLP was something that was offered to our board. We were encouraged for one member of that board to be here. I'm not sure, like someone else said, if I didn't speak up fast enough or I spoke up too fast, but I'm thrilled with everything I've learned so far, and this class has presented some great opportunities, not just for fostering relationships, but for learning together. My passion in my daily business is developing other agents as well as my business. I do work 100% by referral, and I think relationships are the number one thing we have in our business, not just our clients, but with other agents, other brokerages, and at the state and national level. So we all have to defend our business, defend our careers, and at the same time advance and make better people. So thank you.
Hello. So who all here is thinking about how when you introduce somebody you can get them to remember who you are? Pretty much everybody in the room. We're doing impromptu speaking on introducing ourselves. So my name is Robert Sherwood. I'm going to have 3 points that I'll contact you, inform you of how to make an impression for people to remember you. Number 1, connect with somebody on a different level. Number 2, have a shocking moment. Number 3, add value to the conversation where they want to come back for more. So first thing, we all are realtors. We all have that in common. I'd like to connect with some other people. Who's a veteran? Any up? All right, perfect. And so the shocking moment of that, as you can tell, I'm now missing a tooth that I had in this morning. I had all my teeth knocked out. I've got a little flapper tooth, but like Devin, it gives me a lisp. I'm not comfortable speaking like that, so I took it out for this. Number 3, add value to the conversation so people come back to you. So our passions, everybody's talking about their passions. My passion is to help people discover how to build wealth, preferably through real estate. So there's an axis. You have W-2 employees, you have self-employed, you have business owners, you have investors. Everything on this side is passive income. Everything over here, everything on this side is active income. Everything on this side is passive income. If you'd like to learn how to have passive income, I'd love to speak to you some more. Again, my name is Robert Sherwood. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kelly Cox. This is pretty much my worst nightmare. But this is exactly why I signed up for this, because of this specific class. So I'm hoping to get some great takeaways. I'm going to talk to you about my family. I have an interesting family. I'm going to try to be a pockets person too. We're really not interesting, but when you put all my family dynamics together, it's interesting how I'm up here standing, learning leadership. So I am from a single mother. I have moved 23 times in my life, pretty much all around the same place. We just didn't have much, so we definitely struggled a little bit, and each place was pretty much temporary. Besides that, I have later in life reconnected with my father and have a really great relationship with him. My mother has passed away from breast cancer. So hearing you speak and hearing Carol speak was very enlightening. And I've said a million times already, so please nail me on that. And I'm just gonna go sit down.
Hello. So everyone, I'm Diane Ruiz, and I just don't have a whole lot of interesting things to say, so we're just going to shoot it off the hip here. I am one of 9 children, and we're all very close in age, right? So there's lots of jokes about mom and dad being cold all the time or whatever it was. But they did own a restaurant for 35 years, a Mexican food restaurant. And so I did work at the restaurant starting at age 13. Mom and dad taught us how to work very hard, and I still to this day do it. It's just in my blood. So with that said, I've been working, like I said, since 13. Got married very early. Been married for 40 years now, or maybe 41. Don't tell my husband. So I started out working at the federal prison, Federal Bureau of Prisons, and I retired from there. So, like you guys who said y'all were educators, I had audiences all the time because I ended up being a department head, but I had a very captive audience, right? I mean, what else do they have to do but to listen to me? So it was pretty good teaching moments on speaking in front of people because I had to speak to them, but I also had to speak with my peers because I was a safety manager. And I taught safety classes to all the new employees, and once a year we had annual refresher training, so I had to speak to them during that time. Was not the most popular person because my job was to go and tell a man that, hey, you're supposed to be wearing your safety glasses when you do that. And my husband would say, Diane, men don't like to hear that. So sorry guys, but that was my job. So anyway, I decided once I retired that I did not like staying home and doing nothing because I have to work. Got into real estate, best decision I ever made. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love meeting all the people, so many different people, and people think it's really good, go meet all the clients you can, but I think it's really good, go meet all the realtors you can, because when I do a deal with a realtor that I know, so smooth, everything goes so good, and it makes for a good transaction. It's a win-win for both sides, and that's what I believe that we need to have more, and focus more on in the real estate deals that we do. Make it something positive for everyone, and your clients get a good feel out of it too. Just like I said, win-win. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Christy Wages, and I grew up in East Texas in Anderson County. I grew up what I thought was the all-American dream. I kind of thought everybody grew up the way I did, and as I graduated high school, went to college, it was far from what I saw. My parents we lived on the same family land that my grandparents had a ranch on. My dad is a Vietnam veteran. My mom was a high school twirler. She was the first rodeo queen for the brand new association that my grandparents helped form for the Rodeo Association in Anderson County. We just had a great childhood. I've always told my friends that I came from the meatloaf and mashed potato family. You know, we always had Sunday dinners and horses, and everything was just there. As you get older, you see that is taken into context for something that I cherished and something I wanted my family to enjoy. I know you're not supposed to do ums. I keep hearing that in my head. Growing up, it was always about America. Just strong values, watching the Mandrell sisters on TV, watching Hee Haw, 60 Minutes, whatever was there is what the kids have to watch. We didn't have a choice. So when I started real estate in 1996, I went through the motions for a long time. I've done all of our local association. I've been president, I've been vice president, I've been tree pack chair, I've done all of that, but I always wanted a little bit more. It was when a good friend of mine decided that he was going to run for state representative that I was just stricken with this passion of I've got to help him. He had never been in politics before. He hadn't ever ran for a position. And I called him and I said, Cody, I've never done this before, but I'm volunteering. How many people are on your campaign? Nobody, me and Dad. And he goes, are you kidding? You want to help? I said, I hope I don't mess it up for you, but I want to do whatever I can do. And he said, come on, thank you. And so Cody ended up winning District 8 House Representative for our county, which is Anderson, Freestone, Hill, and Navarre County. And last night, he was filling in for Speaker of the House, Dade Phelan, when they were doing the voter registration vote that they finally got to do last night. I mean, I'm sitting there watching my friend fill in for Speaker of the House. So with everything that I've done helping Cody, I've now gotten more into politics because it's so important that we keep our American values with what we grew up as children seeing. These rights are getting taken away from us so much, especially with the influx of out-of-state people coming in. Their values are here. And as we respect them wanting to move here and we welcome them, it's still important to keep especially in our area, in y'all's area, the rural area. It's also our larger cities. We don't need legislators making our decisions from larger cities. What's going to happen to our water rights and our land rights in our small areas? With that, I applied to be on Texas Realtors Public Policy Land Use. So I'm Region 5s. I'm on one of the 2 for public policy for land use. And it is awesome to be able to give your opinion and look at the register to see who is on there, who's actually from East Texas that knows that the community water systems aren't giving out any more water certificates to expand the lines. Who knows this stuff? No, it's us. It's the local people. And secondly, with Cody's win, I was the Texas Realtors 2018 Grassroots Advocate of the Year. So that was a very cherished, very admirable, I love that. I'm also now on the Political Involvement Committee, the PIT Committee, and it's just been a great opportunity. And it's like Nancy said earlier, step out of the box, see what you need to do, find your passion. I never knew my passion was going to involve politics, but it has, and it goes back to my grandparents. And I'm not an 8th generation, but or 7th, I am a 5th generation Texan. I'm very proud of that. We have 6 Confederate soldiers that lay in our family cemetery in Flo, Texas. And I just want to honor those young men as much as I can with what I have and keep the tradition going in real estate. So thank you very much, and I'm totally enjoying being here. Thank you.
All right, I'm good to go, sir. All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Garrett Hall. I'm originally from South Carolina, and I'm not going to talk anything about real estate because we are all in the industry, and sometimes we just need a break. That's why we come to things like this. So just a little demonstration. This is how I try to live my life with the motto of take it as it is, and you know, a glass, you know, in this case is, you know, you can't learn if you're already full. So if you start pouring, you know, with everything that comes into life, sometimes, you know, you have holes that come in, bumps in the roads. And what are you going to do? Are you going to just let it bleed out, or are you going to, you know, try and soak it up and try and go along with your day? And that's what I try to do. Try to be as flexible as possible, not only for me, but for my family and for my clients as well. So I hope that you guys are flexible as well, and I'm more than certain that you are, or else you wouldn't be in this arena to try and learn a little bit more to better yourselves. Thank you.
Okay, hi, I'm Samantha Medvey. I wasn't at the last time that we all gathered together because, as y'all all know, I have a young daughter and she got her first ear infection, so that was an adventure. And this time, just to stay on, you know, trend, I had a double root canal yesterday. So I'm sorry if I'm talking funny or, you know, in pain or something like that. But I guess a little bit about me, as Kathy had mentioned earlier, my mom is our new AE for our board of realtors. She retired from the education field, and so I conned her into helping us because we had an opening and she just happened to be able to fill it. But we have a very, very close-knit family. My mom is an only child and my dad is an only child, so I have no cousins, no aunts, no uncles, anything like that. So it's literally just been my grandparents, my parents, and then me and my sister. And then till I got married. And then our family is very agriculture oriented. Everybody in our family is in the ag business in one way or another. So if y'all ever have farm and ranch real estate related questions, feel free to give me a shout or text me or call me. So, okay, thank y'all.
I was getting tired of sitting down, so I had to get up and do this already. Anyway, my name's Randy Wages. You met my wife. She's the upbeat one of the two. I'm the one that tries to keep it, you know, kind of level it out. Anyway, I've been in real estate now for 6 years. Got my license in 2015. We have a real estate company in Palestine. Before that, I spent 18 years in the oil field. I was a supervisor and a manager. And that's how I kind of got a little bit of public speaking experience, was speaking at meetings and speaking at safety meetings and talking to these guys that really didn't care what I had to say. I guess like some of the others have said, I had a captive audience. They couldn't go anywhere. But it gave me a little bit of experience of getting up and speaking in front of people. I tend to stray a little bit whenever I start talking. I don't stay the course. That's why public speaking would probably be a little bit difficult unless I could sit here and read it. Then I'd know where I was. Anyway, that's really all I had to say. Enjoy being here. Thank y'all for letting us come too, since we, you know, missed this before. So,
it's great to be with you this morning. How many came in last night? Anybody else? I wasn't intending to come in last night, but my kid's soccer practice got canceled, so I booked a hotel and booked it last night, so it was nice to get up this morning and not have to rush. So I don't envy the people that traveled this morning. It was all in 1993 in a movie theater, sitting next to my father, saying, how hard is it to do what you do? And he says, what are you thinking about going into real estate? And I said, why not? How hard can it be to do one deal a month? That's all I need. One deal a month. And he snickered at me and said, go ahead. Well, I'll support you. One deal a month. That's your commitment. One deal a month. I was 19 years old. And so here it is. We're on the journey. Go through the process through the summer. I smell the classroom because there was no online training then. I still smell the classroom today. Rex Weaver was my first educator in Killeen. And we take the test, no problem. Here it is, 20 years old. Remember, commitment, one deal a month. I come in from taking the test. I'm dressed in my suit, wearing a tie. And old Walter Johnson in my dad's office said, son, you need to go back to the bank. Go back to the bank because VA rates just went back from 9.5% to 10%. How many people in the room remember double-digit interest rates? Anyone? Most of the people in the room only know single-digit interest rates. Well, here we are. College. I moved to Colorado, become a real estate broker there. Moved to California, become licensed real estate there. Worked in title, mortgage. Never knew I would have the career that I have today. And 27 years later, it only took 27 years. This week I passed the real estate broker's exam for the state of Texas. So, as Candy suggested, work on it. Do something. Whether it's real estate, politics in real estate, your passion in real estate, whether it's mortgage loans, whatever you want to influence. Now is a great time to influence our industry. So many things are changing. I'm Stephen Kirkpatrick. It's great to be with you this morning.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I'm David Hightower. It's nice to be with everybody here again today. Texas Realtors Leadership Program. A little bit about me. Introduce myself. So, I was born in Louisiana, Fort Polk, Louisiana. My father was in the military, and we moved to Fort Hood, Killeen, Texas, in about '94. So I've been in that area since then, never really left. I've lived in Lampasas, Carpus Cove, Harker Heights, the majority market of where I sell. So I really know that area pretty good. I feel like I'm a great asset to all my clients because of the knowledge that I have. Straight out of high school, I got into HVAC and plumbing. So I worked for a builder who owned a plumbing and HVAC company. So he did everything from building the ground up to putting in the HVAC and plumbing. He did really well. So I was exposed to a lot of stuff very early on as far as, what it takes to build a home, contractors, how they work or how they don't work. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So after that, I got into strictly HVAC work as far as commercial and residential. So I did that for about 12 years before I finally transitioned into property management. I got into property management, started doing commercial and residential property management for the biggest property manager in Killeen, Texas. I won't say any names, but they managed over 3,000 doors. And so I personally managed myself over 1,000 residential and commercial. So I got a lot of background and experience there. And that's what really got my feet wet. I started making connections, seeing, going to a lot of real estate events. And I kind of fell in love with it even more, even though I was already in love with it from doing HVAC and plumbing. I just love the whole HVAC industry, real estate industry since HVAC. But I got into property management, started selling real estate after I got a license, of course. That was in 2016. And so I was doing commercial and residential then. I continued to advance my knowledge in the commercial game, but y'all know since COVID, it's been a little crazy. So I kind of pumped the brakes and started focusing back on residential. I enjoy first-time home buyers because I educate them and I'm very patient with them. So I have a lot of clients who get referred to me that are strictly, first-time homeowners. They may not have a lot of money. So, I educate and I teach them, and they appreciate me for that. So the real estate world has treated me very well. Excuse me, sorry, I'm saying and I just started thinking about that. But the real estate world has treated me very well. Ever since I got in, I learned how to work with sellers first. Then I started learning how to work with buyers and how to educate them. Then I added investors, and then I did a little commercial real estate as well. So I'm pretty well-rounded realtor, and I love what we do. One thing I want to say before I get out of here is we have to educate the community on how important we are. Because if you look at the market right now, there's a lot of people who think they can sell real estate themselves, that they can just, I'll put my house in the market and, I'll put it at the top and sell it and get whatever I want. Well, what that does is it messes up the market. Why? Yes, supply and demand is high right now. Well, inventory is low, so the demand is very high. But whenever you have everybody doing willy-nilly things and the market actually kind of goes with what's going on with the records. So what I'm trying to say is when people price things at the top of the market and people are paying that, the appraised value is going to go up. So everybody's assessed value is going up. That's going to continually rise the market value. How much further can we go? That's what I want to leave y'all with today. Thank you, David Hightower.
Hello, I'm Vanessa Pleedman. I work for Vista Real Estate. I have been licensed in real estate for 5 years. Real estate was not ever a part of the plan. I was in the military, and that's where I met my husband. We've been married for 11 years now. It's hard to keep track after so many years, but that's okay. We have 4 dogs. I'm very passionate about animals. Even on the way in, I rode with Brandy and Devin, and we saw a dog in the road, and she's like, I'm not stopping. So I love my dogs. They're like my kids. So like my first dog that I have, her name is Lexi. She's a Boston Terrier, and she's 12 years old. Lulu, she's a Boston Terrier mix, which we adopted. She is 7. And then Dory, we found her on the street. She's a kind of a hot mess, so per her name, Dory, she has an attention span of a fish. It lasts 2 seconds, and she's just all over the place, but she's like a pit bull lab mix, so you would think she'd be somewhat aggressive, but she's not. So like her tail hits a wall, she flies out the door like she just got scared to death. And then the most recent adoption pet that we have, his name is Mojo. So I don't know if you know anything about like the 90s cartoons, so like Dexter's Laboratory, like Mojo Jojo. You may or may not know, but it's from Cartoon Network, and that's my husband's hunting dog. So him and my husband are the only 2 males in the house, and that's his favorite thing to do is to go hunting. So like when he's at the house, he's a totally different dog as opposed to when my husband takes him hunting, and he sends me videos all the time, and it just amazes me how truly different each pet is. It's like a child. They each have their own personalities, and I feel like I connect with them well. Another couple of great items about me and my husband is that we're very passionate about what we do for veterans. We both are veterans. We met in the service. We were in the same unit together. We deployed together. We didn't start dating till later, but at the same time, like he was my best friend and I married my best friend. So like we're very passionate about veterans. So for those of you that I have spoke with, you know that my husband works with a nonprofit. He takes veterans out on hunts, bow fishing, like weapons, let's see, bow, I think is the other one, yeah. There's multiple other items as well, but they take veterans out on the hunt, show them a good time, have that camaraderie. Anybody that might be suffering from, anything ranging from PTSD to anxiety, that gives them that chance to meet another veteran, have that conversation, and feel like that they're not alone. Because it's true, there's so many veterans that take their lives every day over something like their inner demons. They feel like they can't do anything. So why not be there for them when they need you most? All right. Thank you. You guys have a great day.
Good morning. I'm Courtney Wing. I am from the Highland Lakes Association. I'm from Marble Falls. We moved there in about 1991. I am a third-generation broker. I got my real estate license in 2013, and then my broker's license about 2 years ago. I was a teacher in my former life before I was a realtor, so I do have some experience with public speaking just through that, and I've served on various leadership committees and things. I live in a small town, so if you're in a meeting, you're volunteering to lead the whole thing. I moved from Lampasas, where I was teaching, back to Marble Falls when I got married to my husband. He is one of those out-of-staters that invaded, and he's from California, so don't hold it against me. Have you ever been in one of those conversations where someone asked you a question and then you think of the answer 2 days later that you wish you would have said in that moment? Somebody asked me why I'm doing TRLP. Why would I take off time from my job, and especially in the busy season, and why am I here? I kept thinking about why I'm here, and I just said, well, it's really invigorating and it's great, but I didn't have that great answer. I thought about it on the drive up, and it is that it's the first time, I'm a mom, right? The first time in 7 years that I've taken time out to do something for me, and I'm staring down the barrel of taking over my family's business, and how can I be a great leader if I'm not taking out the time to invest in myself to be great for others? So I'm really glad to be here with all of you guys, and thank you.
I'm Victoria Crick-Thornton, and I have done some public speaking. I was a district manager for 32 years in retail, so I did have to train and teach and coach and be in front of groups. And then when I went to UNLV in Las Vegas, I had to do marketing classes in front of people that didn't care what you were talking about, but we still had to present, so I did. I am a transplant here in Texas, but actually I am a Texan at heart. I was born in Los Angeles and raised in Las Vegas, and I went to my 25-year high school reunion and re-met my husband, and we got married, and he was living here. And now I'm really, really Texan. I love the rodeos. I had never been to one my whole life until I moved here. I love shooting guns, and I have a concealed weapons license. My brothers are like, who is that girl, since I moved here? So I have a gun, and I don't hunt, but my husband hunts, and I'm a big-time fisherman. So we just bought our second boat, and we're going to retire in Rockport in a few years, hopefully sooner. And I'll continue real estate because I do love doing this job. We bought a little land on a canal, and we're going to fish our life away when the time comes. So this is where we plan to stay and be until the end, whenever that is. That would be it. Thank you.
I don't like this at all. Except I used to do public speaking, but no, it's been quite a bit. So just a little bit about me. I grew up, I was born in Houston. 3 weeks later, I was then back in Tunisia with my parents. So I grew up in the Middle East, Australia, and then in Houston, back and forth. My dad's also in the oil industry, or was. He's since retired. One thing that I grew up being in different cultures and meeting different people is the value of relationships. And we are so different. Even, I was like, oh, Waco, I'm not going to live in Waco. And then I moved to Waco, and I loved Waco. And even though they weren't a lot of different cultures, everyone is different, and everyone is special. And I just love helping my clients to just find, the walking into a house and then seeing that light click on in their eyes and knowing that, okay, this is it, and just getting to know them. I mean, most of my clients, I'd say about 98% of them, we're still in contact. We're still friends. And it's not just sending out, but they actually call me and just, we have anyway, it's bottom line, the relationship. So my mom was a realtor, and I was always like, that's not really my path. And then I went to college for political science. I was going to go back to the Middle East and work with a nonprofit over there, but the Lord had other plans, and I reconnected with my husband, and I followed him to medical school. So we've been around, and I've had sales jobs, finance jobs, and when I moved back to Texas, my mom said, I really think you should consider real estate, and maybe we can even work together. Well, we don't work together now, but that's the ultimate goal once they move to closer to us. But I love it, and after being in it, I was always like, I'm not going to be a broker. I'm just going to be a realtor. And now I've decided that no, I want to be a broker, and I also want to do more in the community. And I want my kids to see that. My boys are my life, and I want them to have a passion for whatever they do. And I mean, they come with me now. They think that they know more than I do, but it's been a blessing. These past 4 years have been a blessing, and I just thank y'all for the opportunity to be in this class. It has really opened my eyes. I have always loved helping people, and I've always wanted to be a leader, but getting a true understanding of what that means has been awesome. So, thank you.
Thank everybody for spending their time and coming to this meeting. On behalf of the Texas Realtors, we are here to inform you, the local board members and past presidents, of our position on transportation. There's a lot of legislation that's coming up on the next session about how to move forward. We just want you to be well informed and on the same page as the Texas State Realtors Association's point of view. So with that, our main purpose in Texas as a citizen and as professional realtors are to ensure that our citizens have the right to a safe and efficient mode of transportation. We all need to have transportation to lower our cost of goods, to be able to move freely about, to do our jobs, to get to and from to visit loved ones. And so that is our primary message that we want to get across. With the legislation that's coming up, there are several points that we support as Texas Realtors, and I'd like to cover 4 of those. Number 1 would be the Texas Transportation Commission of Transportation should ensure the accountability, the transparency of public involvement in transportation planning process. And by doing that, we can do that through having education services around how transparent that funding is, whether that comes from a state level or a local level. We support that coming from the local level for them to decide how to use their funds for the appropriate portions of transportation that is ideal to them. We don't need ports in Austin, Texas. We may need them down in the Gulf. So take your local leadership, take that presentation back, get engaged with your elected officials, and have them be transparent, inform the public, get them out to the polls. And through doing that, the local sources of transportation will lead to efficient transportation corridors, which will also affect your housing communities, where you can build efficient housing, cost-effective housing, shorten the transportation time to and from work, and which will depend on your political side of that, of what that would be. So our ask and our takeaway for this is to educate your members of your association, get the people out to the polls, pass the message along, vote, vote, vote. Thank you for your time. Again, I'm Robert Sherwood with Texas Realtors.
All right, well, thank y'all for being here. One of the things that has really affected Texas definitely the past 5 to 10 years is our water infrastructure. If you look back at 2017, we had Hurricane Harvey, which the Governor's Commission to Rebuild Texas determined that Harvey damaged more than 200,000 structures along the Gulf Coast, with many property owners facing challenges with rebuilding, whether that was financial or work shortages with people working, and then having access to permitting and everything. So in addition to Harvey, there's also been a lot of flooding in the Panhandle, the Texas Hill Country, and in West Texas. So if these infrastructure updates are not addressed, and our water supply will then also be negatively affected, which will then affect the state as a whole. The Texas Development Board estimates that $6.7 billion in property losses over the next 5 years from coastal and river flooding combined. This will affect property and landowners. The property owners will need efficient and affordable insurance, access to contractors, and skilled laborers. Landowners will need to be ensured that water availability as the state works on conservation, on its conservation goals. So this year, so 2021, lawmakers will be discussing mitigation for future flood damage through water rights, streamlined permitting, and the amendment process. We've seen a lot of legislation passed in the past 10 years, including Proposition 6 in 2013 that authorized a transfer of $2 billion to the State Water Implementation Fund for Texas. And then in 2014, this was then sent to be able to allow local community and entities to be a part of that. So I feel that the Texas Realtor's position, it is important that we support the development and implementation of a broad range of flood mitigation technologies throughout the state, such as flood warning systems, improved levees, and innovation in construction techniques.
Hello all, and thank you for joining me today. From 1998 to 2007, less than 10 years, total property tax levy statewide increased more than 211%. That's $40.35 billion. That's billion with a B. So who the heck voted for the people that made this mess? And what does this mean for our industry? Here's an example. Joe Byer has been pre-approved and wants his payments to be around $1,500 a month. What Joe Byer doesn't understand is that approximately 25% of that payment is going to go to property taxes alone. The only thing that can be counted on is that value will only increase. The scary part, Joe Byer doesn't really understand this and doesn't know. Where do we go from here as Texas Realtors? We need to continue to have a voice in our local and state legislations and always be learning. This includes brushing up on current laws like the Texas Property Tax Reform and Transparency Act of 2019 that hopes to enhance transparency for taxpayers. We need to be the voice that advocates for our clients. After all, as a fellow realtor, I want my children to be able to afford to live here too.
Thank you all for having me. I'm here today to talk to you about eminent domain. What does this mean? Texas Constitution does allow this. Exercise of power. It's a necessary tool, and it's a hot topic lately because now it has been expanded and some are saying abused. Why do we care, and what do we hear when we hear eminent domain? Well, lots of people say, the government's going to take my land. Like, that's pretty much all people hear. But realtors need to position ourselves to ensure fair treatment in this policy, making sure that legislation provides easement agreements, basic terms, and future uses needs to be laid out, and also providing landowners information on the upcoming projects. We need to stay informed and follow the upcoming reform bills. Thank you. Okay, hi everybody. I'm an Aggie and a Bearcat, but more importantly than just an ag education, I'm an ag property owner who has ag taxes for taxing purposes. So my topic is the change of use taxes. So I have a personal vested interest in this. Our state allows property owners to have their land appraised based on the land's capacity to produce agricultural products rather than the land's market value. So that has, in the past, helped land legacy owners for farming and ranching purposes. So the property owner who changes the use of the property will have a rollback tax. In 2019, that was reduced from 5 years of rollback taxes to 3 years of rollback taxes. So the rollback tax is the difference between the taxes paid on the land's agriculture value and then what the new market value of the property is. So we've seen that maybe when a property has gone from being a corn field to now it's going to be an apartment complex. Those are the types of times when this rollback tax would be affected and affect the new property owner. So the significant tax burden can deter potential property expansion and growth in that community. So that is the negative part of it. The Texas Realtor, our position with the legislation is that we want to repeal or reduce the 3-year rollback tax collection. And that's why in 2019 it went from 5 years to 3, so we're making progress. This has only been changed 3 times in the history of Texas. So in 1966, when this was created, and that was for the primary occupation was farming. So that's when this was initially created. And then in 1978, it didn't go from necessarily farming and ranching being your primary occupation to now just the use of the land. So that really helped maybe weekend ranchers or people who had their in-town jobs and now they've changed to weekend ranching. The deduction from the market value of having an ag property is $210 billion. So from the state's point of view, there's a huge reduction in income by having ag property taxed that way. So your voice in this matters, I think, as a real estate board and state where that we really would like to benefit property owners, and that the rollback tax hurts growth in our local communities, especially in our small communities like where we are now in Brenham, Texas. So that's my conclusion.
Hi everyone, I'm Courtney Wing. I'm here to talk to you about central appraisal districts. We seem to have a tax theme today. I got a phone call the other day from a client, and she says, Courtney, I have lived in Marble Falls in the same house for 30 years, and I am looking to retire, and I am not going to be able to afford to do that because my property taxes seem to keep going up and up and up every year. It's a problem that is happening not just in our small community, but all over the state. Texas state tax rates in general are skyrocketing, and what are we going to do? The consumer, your sellers, are looking for relief. There was a Senate Select Committee that held some public hearings to hear out these property owners and to find out what their grievances are. The problem with that is that only your local entities have the power to change how we levy taxes. So the state can only be so involved. What consumers overall, what they're looking for is transparency, fairness, and uniformity throughout these appraisal districts. There seems to be a general lack of understanding in how properties are taxed in general. And so I think what our position is and what Texas Realtors wants is fairness, of course, and equity, but also education for these consumers that may not understand. That's part of our job, to help them understand. We are to support legislation, to improve the oversight on how appraisal districts are appraising and assessing properties. We are opposed to changing anything that has to do with the equal and uniform process that they are trying to do now. We're also opposed to the election of chief appraisers because we don't want to politicize this process. We want it to be fair and equitable, as I've said before. So what's our outlook in this, and what we hope to have happen here is that lawmakers are going to seek some clarification on these tax reform laws that happened in 2019. And I'm not an expert by any means, so I implore you to get involved, ask questions, and continue to support our clients. Thanks so much for your time.
Okay, here we are in Brenham, Texas with KTX Radio. This is Marshall Tucker and this is my band right here. We are going to talk to realtors about something important, hopefully to our listening audience. And what are we talking about today? Sir, what's your name?
Stephen Kirkpatrick.
And tell us what you're going to be discussing today.
Sales price disclosure in the state of Texas.
Okay, what exactly is sales price disclosure? And give us your name, sir, and tell us a little bit about what it is.
Good afternoon. Sorry. Good afternoon. My name is Garrett Hall, and as part of the Texas Realtors Leadership Program, we're here today talking to you a little bit about sales price disclosure and what A big question that we always get is, what does sales price disclosure mean to realtors, our clients, and why is it important? So sales price disclosure possibly could lead to significant property tax increases. And in the state of Texas, we are a non-disclosure state, so sales price is not necessarily a good indicator of taxable value.
Okay, I think hopefully we've kind of an uneducated audience, but hopefully they got some of that. Now, the question is, will you disclose your name?
Victoria Crick Thornton.
So you're for disclosure or non-disclosure? Non-disclosure. But you just gave me your name.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My name I'm good with.
So you'll tell me your name, but not your price. Okay. All right. We'll go to the next person. What does disclosure mean to your clients?
Well, wait a second, I have a question. When you say clients, do you mean on the buying side, selling side? Where are we?
Well, I guess selling side. If you're going to sell a property, what do you disclose? What does that mean to the homeowner?
So sellers just don't want may not want their price of the home disclosed to others. They don't want them to know their business. They like to keep things private. And Texas, luckily, our legislature fights for us to keep it as a non-disclosed state.
Well, that's very good. We're all for privacy here in the state of Texas. At least most of my friends are. And ma'am, tell us a little bit about you. And now, why are you here?
I have no idea.
Well, I don't either, so you're going to have to answer up.
Because I'm part of this this team with this real estate group, and I'm actually an intern, so I'm actually shadowing Stephen so that he could educate me as well on all of these issues.
Sounds like a little shifting of responsibility there, but that's pretty smart, really. I think I might list with her. And all right, Stephen, let's kind of wrap this up. Final thoughts on sales price disclosure.
Final thoughts on sales price disclosure.
That's what I said. Final. That's my line. What's your line?
Well, if I could finish my line, we'll be okay. But if we look on the buy side, since we already talked about the selling side, the buy side, why would we want the buy side disclosed even? Because if we're taxing on the transfer value, that's really not a good indicator of taxable value, because some of these properties are different. They don't all conform on the inside. Some of them have mineral rights issues. We also have irregular lot issues, and we also have panoramic view issues. Some have interior lots, some have exterior corner lots, and things like that. So there's really not there's not any true conformity to the taxing system to remove all the complexities associated with appraisal value.
Okay, I think I got that. And Brenham, I hope you got some good answers today about sales price disclosure. We're grateful to all these realtors that came out to join us, and the intern as well. So thank you very much. Y'all have a great afternoon. Okay, hey, this is Big Bob with KLBJ Radio in Austin, Texas. We're down here at the state capitol today, and I was sitting here. I actually came to listen to the marijuana laws, and I think we're going to have marijuana legalization here pretty soon. But that being said, I can't get anybody to talk to me, but I did find some realtors to talk about something here, and I want to find out. I think that they want to talk to us about ED. Sir, can you tell us about ED?
Well, Big Bob.
That is my name, yes, sir.
ED, eminent domain.
Eminent domain, is that some sort of domain name for an internet thing or something?
Eminent domain is actually the ability for a government entity, usually, to take land from property owners if it can be used for public use.
Well, that doesn't sound fair. Are you for it or against it?
Well, we are for private property rights all day, every day.
Okay. And so do you get when you do this, when you represent somebody, do you get a 10% commission? There is no dead air in radio.
When I represent somebody in eminent domain?
When you represent anybody in anything, do you get a 10% commission?
No, sir.
You don't? Good. Will you do it for 2%?
Everything's negotiable.
Okay, very good. And ma'am, what is your name?
Cindy Gov,
Cindy, where are you from?
Waco, Texas.
Waco, Texas. So tell us what's going on with eminent domain in Waco, Texas.
Well, since eminent domain is that the government can take landowners' property if, let's say, they're going to make a street wide or do something different with utilities, because we've had so much growth in Waco recently. Our job is to help make sure that the landowners get a value that's competent for the piece of property they'd be giving away.
So you help the owners get the right amount of money if the government's going to take their property. Okay, that sounds good. And ma'am, tell us about your situation with eminent domain. Where have you had any experience with it?
I personally have not, actually.
And what is your name and have any of your clients?
Brandy Mickey, and no, sir.
Okay. And why are you here?
Because I was asked to be.
You were asked? She was asked to be. Okay, good. Well, we're glad to have you. Are you an intern? Okay, just checking. We heard there are a lot of interns out on the radio airwaves now. So, ma'am, give us your name and tell us a little bit about your position on eminent domain.
Good afternoon, Big Bob. It's great to join you today here. Thank you for having us. Eminent domain is a tool that was passed by the legislature many years ago to allow for adequate land use and growth and development. As we all know, Texas is growing rapidly. But with that, we have to be careful that the property owners are duly compensated for their ownership rights.
Okay, very good. And is this the realtor position as well?
Well, I imagine every realtor gets to come up with their own opinions. However,
But no, for the real estate, I mean, you all have different opinions on major issues, or are you pretty much all in line with each other?
every individual gets to make their own decisions.
Okay.
Realtors is one voice.
All right, Texas Realtors is one voice, so we got one and one vote. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, since we are here in the capital city and we're happy that you're here to check in on the legislative session, we'd like to invite you to participate in the hearings that are probably coming up shortly regarding eminent domain since the changes that have taken place in the last 15 years.
Well, I might take you up on that. That's a good deal. But right now, we have to take an advertising break, and we're probably going to have to cut away. And I don't know if you've eaten over at Adam and Steve's. It's a really good place. Their apple pie is sinfully delicious, and they're our sponsor today. So I'm going to recommend them, and they've got good country cooking as well. So anyway, y'all go ahead and visit that one. I'm going to see about the marijuana legalization. That's coming up too. And if not, I may just go visit some friends over at the local bar down here. So, and I'm out. All my listeners, all 7 of you, I'm glad y'all stayed with us today. Have a great afternoon. Big Bob, over and out.
Good afternoon. I would like to open today's press conference, and I'm happy to address any questions that you have in regards to our local association of realtors. My name is Jody Warner, and I am happy to be here with my committee.
Ms. Warner, what are you accused of? What violation are you accused of?
We actually are waiting to hear that, sir.
Is this antitrust or is this?
Fair housing.
We have been, a fair housing discussion has been brought to the table, but we are unclear of what the issue is at this point.
Okay.
So the lady with the children, tell us about that story.
I'm sorry, can I get your name, please?
It's Monica.
Oh, good afternoon, Monica. Good afternoon. I apologize, but that's not a personal experience. And as a representation of the representative of the Board of Realtors, I would love to have more details as to which issue you're referring to.
Ma'am, I'd like to ask you a question. Would you step to the mic and introduce yourself, please?
Sure. My name is Cindy Goff, and I'm on the committee with the association.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. We've got maybe some steering issues here, and you're from Waco now. Would you sell a house to a Texas Longhorn?
We are required to sell a house based on our code of ethics, yes.
So because we've understood from some of the Aggies that they would not do that, and we're trying to figure out if that's the same with Baylor Bears.
No, sir, it is not.
It's not?
No,
Okay,
sir.
So we're pretty fair-minded.
Yes.
We like it. Okay.
Okay, so what about the case again with the lady with the children? What happened in that case that's coming against you all?
I apologize, Monica, but we're not able to address any specific case without full details.
Okay, it looks like she's not going to answer the question. What about you, ma'am? Will you answer the question?
Can you elaborate, please?
Well, you're here to tell us about what's happened and what's been charged against you. So can you elaborate?
I don't.
State your name, ma'am.
My name is Kelly Cox.
Okay.
Yes. I don't believe that our group has been informed of this lady with the children. If you guys could enlighten us, that would be wonderful, and we'd be happy to answer any of your questions.
Well, at this point, would you deny the allegations?
I'm actually going to step in, sir. I apologize, but we are not able to address any allegations which have not been made public against our association in detail.
Ma'am, you're awful quiet back there. Do you know something that you want to talk to us about?
My name is Brandy Mickey, and no, sir, I do not.
I am going to pull back and redirect. I would like to say, as part of the association board, we do firmly support fair housing. The Fair Housing Act was enacted and 50 years were celebrated in 2018. With that, we do have rules by which we all abide as Texas Realtors. Those include the fact that we will not discriminate based on race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, national origin, or sexual orientation. Individual issues beyond those are items which would have to be drafted and addressed on an individual situation. This may be something that needed to be taken to the brokerage level or the local board of realtors with great details. We would love to help, but in an area this size, it's hard to address a specific situation without knowing the details.
Ma'am, may I ask you a question?
Yes, sir. My name is Jamie Stanley.
Jamie, do you show properties? Are you a practicing realtor, or are you just on the board?
Practicing realtor.
Do you drive people around and show them houses and that sort of thing? Is that what you do?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when you're driving to a subdivision and you come to a light and you have to turn left, you are steering. Would that be a fair statement that you do steer?
I'm driving the vehicle. Yes, sir.
That you steer people?
With the steering wheel. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, they're not saying a whole heck of a lot. I don't know if we're getting anything more out of it. So, would y'all rather stand here and be harassed for another 5 minutes, or would you rather graduate from Spokesperson training?
Well, we appreciate the opportunity to engage in conversation with the public at any opportunity we get. At this point, we would be more than happy to accept graduation accolades and return to our seats, sir.
Well, our policy does require a unanimous amen.
Amen.
Okay.
Thank you for coming today. We would like to talk about the antitrust awareness in real estate. It has come to our attention that some of brokers in our associations have been coming together and discussing commissions and the reduction of commissions, which is against the antitrust law, and we do not believe this. The association, the Texas Realtors Association, does not believe in doing this. That is something that is discussed among one brokerage that decides what they are going to agree to, but ultimately it is a negotiable fee, and that is up to each realtor to negotiate that. The other thing that has come to our attention is the illegal agreements to restrain trade services. We are not coming together and asking a reduction in service fees for magazines or any type of marketing. That is also something that is decided upon between each broker and their own company, not a group of brokers coming together. And I appreciate your coming today. Can I answer any questions?
Ma'am, what town are you from?
I'm from Marble Falls.
Marble Falls, okay.
That is the Highland Lakes Association of Realtors.
What's that restaurant up there, the Blue Bonnet Cafe?
Yes, it is.
We have heard rumors that a group of realtors meets there on Saturday morning for breakfast, and they text back and forth and sometimes talk a little too loudly about coming up with a fixed 10% commission. Can you elaborate on that or any further again?
Again, we spoke about this, of brokers coming together and talking about a fixed rate, and we do not believe that. The Texas Realtors and the National Association of Realtors believes this is an antitrust law, and I would like to know who those are. We would be more than happy to discuss this with them.
It's Catherine Townsend or Thompson or something like that. We're not sure. These are just rumors that float around.
Well, you know how rumors are. They do float.
Ma'am, what's your name?
I am Catherine Townsend. I am with. My name is Catherine Townsend. I am part of the Waco Association of Realtors. I think this is an unfortunate event that has happened. I will say that I was not part of it. I'm a firm believer in negotiating the rate between my client and the brokerage, and whatever is decided outside of that with other brokers and their clients is their business, but it is definitely a violation of the antitrust law.
Well, Catherine, we understand that maybe you've been, stay with the mic, please. We understand that you may have been seen at George's and the health camp doing the same thing over a cheeseburger and malt.
Well, I will say I do frequent those locations, but I would have to say that that was not my conversation. I'm a firm believer.
Okay.
So back at the pie shop, and the discussion was, if you buy this pie, I get that pie for 50% off. Was that about pie or real estate?
That was about pie.
It wasn't about commissions?
No, it wasn't about commissions. No, I love their pies and I frequently purchase them. And so if I'm going to buy more, then, maybe I could get 50% off of that.
So saving a client half price didn't ever come into conversation?
Well, if it did, it would be between my client and myself, but not agreed upon with other brokers. So that's between my client and myself.
We're going to get to you in a minute, but I want to find this person hiding back there. Let's go to the mic and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Courtney Wing, not hiding, just behind people.
Oh, you're just behind her.
Yeah,
It's my
yeah.
angle, so I've got a bad angle on this.
Sure.
So, there's a rumor too that one of you's been stating something pi r squared, and we all know pi r round, especially over in Marble Falls and the Blue Line. What can you tell us about that? Is that you or one of your compadres?
Certainly not me, although I've been told I have a doppelganger in town, so maybe somebody else.
You have one of those dogs, that's a long dog?
Yes, yeah, so you know what I'm talking about, yeah. No, absolutely not, I would not be a party to that discussion.
Okay. Now, ma'am, would you please step up to the mic and introduce yourself?
Victoria Crick Thornton.
Okay. We're glad you're here today. Hopefully you can enlighten us on a few things. And it sounds like y'all are denying the allegations. Would you say you are denying the allegations?
Yeah, they didn't occur.
So if by denying the allegations, by inference, you would also deny the alligator?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I think we've got something here. Now, wait a second. Department of Justice van is just pulled up front. Orange jumpsuits, this high, this high, this high, and this high? Okay. All right, I will relay that information. There is a Department of Justice van out front. They've got orange jumpsuits, and I guess the question, would y'all rather eat at home, or would y'all rather eat rice and crackers at the prison tonight? So it's up to you. What would y'all rather do?
I'd like to eat at home.
Okay.
I'd like to eat at the Blue Bonnet.
At the Blue Bonnet?
I heard it's happy hour, pie happy hour.
It's
Okay.
pie happy hour at the Blue Bonnet.
Okay. So now we're just going to lay it out on the line. Would you rather graduate spokesperson training now, it has to be unanimous, or would you rather go to the orange jumpsuit place?
Graduate now and celebrate.
This is your show.
Oh, hey, well, we didn't get the introduction. I apologize. So, hello, my name is J.R. Marquez. I'm the president of the Waco Association of Realtors. I've got my team here with us, and we've been called to this press conference. How can we help you?
Are we talking about steering or antitrust, or what are we talking about today?
I believe the question.
Antitrust.
Yes, antitrust. I believe the reporter had told us we were going to be talking about antitrust today.
Yeah, well, y'all, and we thought y'all had called the news conference because.
Oh, we called it. I apologize.
Yeah,
This
that's
is,
okay, but yeah, I understand.
yeah, it's a little tight up there. So can I start over?
No, you're good.
Okay, I'm good. Yes, sir. So I apologize. So, yeah, so there's a question of antitrust. I believe there was some information circling around in terms of some conversations that have taken place that kind of drove that drove some concern of antitrust. And so that's what we wanted to talk to you today about. And so one of the things that we want to make sure that everyone understands is that, you know, we take those items very seriously. That, you know, we don't. Not only do we not tolerate it, but it's against the law. You know, and so and there's some considerable fines that can be posed along with some criminal action. So that's what we're here to talk about today.
We understand that both at the health camp and at George's, there's been groups of realtors talking about a fixed 10% commission. Can you speak to that?
Well, you know, that's speculation. And, you know, so we actually heard that there may have been a conversation in terms of where it took place. We don't know that. But at the end of the day, that's unacceptable. There's no, you know, that's not our policy, and it's against the law.
Sir, can you let the lady speak about it? Because I don't know if we're really going to get the true answer from you. Can you step up and speak, please?
Of course.
My name is Brenda Burdick, and yes, definitely, as our leader was just telling you, any implications of antitrust would need to be dealt with very seriously and would be handled as such locally and at the state level if needed. And the discussions that were held would definitely be called into question.
Hey, Rattlesnake Slim, come on up with the mic. So, it sounds like we're kind of getting a runaround here. We're trying to hone in on this, because these are serious allegations. And at this point, would you say that you're denying the allegations?
We're investigating it further, and if we find anything, we're going to handle it accordingly.
Okay. You have a question for him?
Well, because you're investigating it, are you saying that there is an action against you for sure that you can confirm?
Is that your phone?
It's not.
Maybe your attorney calling to say you're not answering more questions.
It's down here.
I thought that was over there. I'm not supposed to say, can you repeat the question, but now I forgot.
So when you all had dinner the other night and you were talking about commissions and fixing a percentage, what was that about?
I guess I've had conversations with colleagues about what I've charged in the past. However, no conversation about fixing or typicals or standards have ever been used.
I can take a question, sir.
Please, come on up.
Good evening. My name is Garrett Hall, and I'm welcome to answer any questions you may have.
So, y'all are the Waco Association.
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Do you actively support the Baylor Bears or the South Carolina Gamecocks?
Sir, we're not here to talk about those issues. Issues that we're here to talk about are the allegations that were brought up, and we'd be more than happy to answer any of those questions that you may have that relate to those issues. But
Well, regarding allegations, would you deny the allegations at this point?
I would say that it is a very fluid situation, and we're handling it as swiftly as possible. You have a question for Mr. Devon here?
Thank you, sir.
Hello, Devin Forbes with Amazing Realty with the Waco Association. How may I help you?
Well, what is your role in this event? I mean, we understand maybe that you were buying dinner at George's for all these groups. Is that true?
That is true. We all went to dinner. We all had a good time. However, I believe the question at hand really needs to be directed a little more clearly. And from what I've heard that was, is fixed pricing on commissions a standard practice? No, it's not. It's not tolerated. In the state of Texas, we negotiate every commission. This deal may be one commission, this deal could be another. This one could be another. Each different contract or different listing agreement that the state of Texas has with their realtors and their clients, well, it's always negotiable. So there is no standard price fixing.
I don't think we are at all. Okay.
So would y'all rather stay here and be interrogated for another 10, 15 minutes, or would you rather graduate spokesperson training? And it has to be unanimous.
Graduate spokesperson.
Well,
and
before we close, do you mind?
No, go ahead.
Well, first of all, sir, thank you for allowing us to come up here and speak and visit with you. And as the president of the association, yes, sir, we'd like to graduate.
Hi, we are Central Texas Real Estate Company, LLC, and we understand that we've been accused of an antitrust discrepancy, and we are here to answer any questions that y'all have to clear up any concerns.
And what board are you representing? What board or association?
We are representing the South Central Board of Realtors here in Brenham, Texas.
Okay. Well, there's pretty serious allegations, and these are antitrust, correct?
Yes, sir.
So we understand that y'all were over at the dairy something or other burger place.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of people were over there drinking malts and eating cheeseburgers, some double cheeseburgers, all talking about fixed commissions, fixed 9 to 10%, and it was, y'all were voting on whether it should be 9 or 10%. Can you elaborate on that, please?
We have eaten at the dairy bar. They're very good people that own that restaurant. However, I don't necessarily, I guess I don't understand the question. Who was there eating there?
Mostly board members or members of your association. We're not sure.
Okay.
What we've heard.
Okay. Do y'all have any?
We have no knowledge of any member of our board discussing commissions with another broker or anything. We don't know anything about that.
Ma'am? State your name.
My name is Christy Wages, and I am a partner with the real estate firm, as with the rest of these people, as with the rest of us are.
Partner with the instigators of this crime?
No.
Oh.
No. What has been accused of us, we are here to defend ourselves, and the policies set by National Association of Realtors with the Code of Ethics. Also, Texas Realtors has a strict policy on antitrust, as well as our local association and in our company bylaws. This is something we take extremely seriously, and we wanted to come forth first. Instead of letting this come out in the news, we felt it was best to come forth because maybe someone could use this as a teaching tool for themselves. And if we're here to help, we don't want to make this any bigger than what it is. We want to just address the issue.
I don't know if she's telling like the whole story here, but when we heard that 10% is what everybody agreed to, what was that topic about?
I have no idea, ma'am. I was not present there, so to me that would be hearsay. If I was present at the conversation, that'd be different.
So how did y'all come up with that percentage?
How did who come up with what percentage?
Sir, can you step in?
Yes.
Okay, so percentages, is it a 9 or a 10%? I mean, that's all.
It's neither. We have no agreement with anybody on any percentage. It's an individual basis.
So at this point, y'all would be denying the allegations?
Exactly.
So if you're denying the allegations, by implication, you deny the alligator, correct?
Sure.
So
everybody that had on their car had the alligator sticker? That wasn't?
I have no knowledge of that.
Okay, could you please elaborate an alligator sticker? Was it green or was it red? I'm not quite sure.
It's on your car. We saw it as we drove up
No, ma'am, I don't have stickers on my car, and that I believe I know where this is going. There's also another group that is very similar to ours in the same region. So I think I see where this is going. So
This is an association problem then, a large group.
no, we have very similar names, and things often get mistaken for that group. So I think maybe your research would be better spent with them, because the only thing that we are getting accomplished here is we all eat at the Dairy Barn. That is it. Thank you very much.
Ma'am. So at the South Central Board of Realtors, we do not operate one MLS. We don't have an MLS here. So each situation and each property that's transacted on is a case-by-case scenario, and percent commissions is all negotiable through each transaction. So setting a 9 or 10% commission standard would not be beneficial to our clients, and that's who we have the best interest in representing.
Well, I've got a quick question, and we may not be able to get any more out of you, but it seems like there's a discrimination issue against women here, because all we hear is about antitrust. What about Uncle Trust?
That's the alligator.
Yeah, I've never met Uncle Trust. I've never met antitrust until now, so here we are. But we really want to emphasize that, every property that is a transaction, or each client that each one of our companies represents, is a case-by-case scenario, and the commissions are negotiable on each and every contract. And I guess that's the end of our conference. Woo! Okay.
Do you have a question?
I do not.
Okay, here's the last question.
Mm-hmm.
Given the choice of standing up there and being harassed for another 5 or 10 minutes, would you rather do that, or would you rather graduate and it has to be unanimous?
We would rather graduate.
I only heard one person.
We would rather graduate.
She's a spokesperson.
We want to meet the antitrust. No, he's graduating.
Yay!
Oh, it's our show? Oh, we called a news conference. Oh. What everyone should know about fair housing is the sale and purchase of a home is one of the most significant events that any person will experience in his or her lifetime. It is more that the simple purchase of housing, for it includes the hopes, dreams, aspirations, and economic destiny of those involved. There are laws and responsibilities that we must all adhere to, that we all have the responsibility of following through with, and that no one is either exempt and no one is or should be left out when purchasing real estate based upon their background, their history, their origin, where they come from, who they are, how they act. Specifically, sellers are not to discriminate against others and to be put in a position to discriminate against others for the sale of their home. And buyers should have the expectations that they will not be discriminated against. Is that our time? Or is that?
I don't know, it could be your lawyer calling to say he's all talking to.
Oh, thank you.
Ma'am, could you tell us what the allegations is that are brought against you? Can you step forward?
Yes, I believe I was discriminated against because I'm a female.
So instead of, you're accusing others of discriminating against you versus someone accusing your association from being discriminatory?
Okay, I don't know, you just confused me.
Could you rephrase that so that?
You're whispering in the ear. Can you step forward, please? Can you explain what we're here today for?
I cannot.
So I think we were.
We were accused of being discriminatory, but that is incorrect.
So would you deny the allegations then?
Absolutely.
100%.
Yes, sir.
So if you deny the allegations, then you have to deny the alligator?
Absolutely.
Okay. And ma'am, you're talking about discrimination. Do you feel as a female realtor, you're being discriminated maybe like in antitrust type things?
As realtors, we can't discriminate.
Yes,
As realtors, we cannot discriminate. It is against the law.
but this young lady behind you was,
I think she misunderstood your question, but thank you.
okay.
I don't think you can take back what you said, though. You said a pretty strong allegation there that you felt discriminated against. When we have words.
She misunderstood the question,
you all
ma'am.
discriminate
Thank you.
Against others.
Next question.
This is going to be my lawyer.
So, I know this is.
I think we've answered all the
Do you
questions.
Do you show houses? Do you show how, take people to look at houses?
Absolutely, sir.
You drive them around, or y'all meet at the houses, what do y'all do?
Depending upon what my client wants,
But
yes.
you do drive them sometimes.
Do I drive them sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes you drive them to show them subdivision.
Sometimes.
So if you come to a light, and you're going to turn into the subdivision, then you're actually steering. Would that be,
Absolutely not, sir. That's not steering.
you don't use the steering wheel to turn in, you just kind of.
That's a different type of steering wheel, sir.
Oh.
Steering somebody is leading them in a different direction. It has nothing to do with your vehicle.
Yeah.
You're driving a car.
Okay, what does that have to do with it?
We're meeting at an agreed upon location.
How do you get into that subdivision with?
You obviously turn on your vehicle and you drive into the subdivision.
I think what she's trying to say is that we have a predetermined destination for everywhere we go, so we already know where we're going before we get there, and the client is already prepared to go where we are going.
Thank you, Stephen. I
I
appreciate
just
it.
got a call from the Justice Department van that pulled out, and they said there are 4 people in here that are accused of obfuscation in a major way. I don't know what that means. And they've got orange jumpsuits.
Are we having a telephone conversation or a news conference?
It doesn't really sound like you're asking us questions, you're just accusing us of things.
So the question is, would you all rather spend the night in the local prison and eat crummy food, or would you rather graduate spokesperson training? And it's got to be unanimous. It's not a trick question. They have to debate it.
We like to graduate.
Call the news conference.
Yes, that's it. Thank you for coming.
It's got to be all.
It is unanimous. She's speaking on behalf.
Call the news conference. Thank you for coming.
Everybody would like to graduate.
Okay.
Graduate or continue to be asked questions?
We would love to graduate, sir.
We would love to.
Yes, love to graduate.
This other lady, she's holding out, she's laughing at us.
I said it.
You said graduate?
Yes.
She did.
Say it again.
Yay!